joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. Today, I am joined by the amazing Kerry Cole. She is the SVP of Lending at EPM. Kerry, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we all know the majority of us came into the mortgage industry by accident, but we stay in the industry because it's tied to our personal and professional why. At this time, Kerry, we would love to hear, what is your why?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Laura. I really do appreciate being here, and I'm very honored to spend some time with you. So my why, and as you mentioned, I did fall into this industry kind of by accident, and I have not left since '99. I love it. And for me, I think what helps me be motivated to keep going in this industry is just knowing how many people we can impact in a positive way. You know, when I was processing loans and when I was originating loans directly, I would work so hard with the borrowers, and I'd understand their stories, and I'd understand, you know, why they wanted to buy that house. And it wasn't because they wanted a mortgage. It was because they wanted the barbecue on Sundays with the whole family coming over, that they could bring, you know, multi-generationals together. So many other reasons than a mortgage, right? But we get to be involved in this awesome process where, you know, helping borrowers get into homes. It's just amazing that we're able to do that. And as I've progressed, you know, throughout my career, you know, going from processing to originating, and sometimes leading a team and working directly with brokers, I see that I'm able to even help in a greater way, because I can mentor, I can coach, I can show people, you know, information that I've learned over the years to make things easier and better for them. And you know, it just seems like as this career is just gives so much back, and, you know, just from helping others.
I love that. And yes, you are correct. We are instrumental in changing not just the lives of those families, but as you said, even generations beyond, right? Because, you know, I mean, it's interesting. My parents never owned a home. And I remember growing up, I just thought you rented. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think about buying a home because that wasn't what I saw at home. So when you see your parents owning a home, of course, that's what you think of when you're growing up, right? So it changes everything. So yes.
It does. It does. And, you know, you just made me think of, you know, just growing up, you know, in my family, you know, being one of 7 children. You know, my parents, you know, even though they came from, you know, very humble, you know, beginnings, and, you know, my dad was a truck driver, my mom was a bartender, they were able to buy several homes throughout their lives. And having a house, you know, made a difference in our family. It gave us stability. You know, I did grow up with some friends that, you know, had to move around often, different apartments. They'd be gone from school for 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time. And, you know, it just, having a home means so much to so many families.
It's roots, right? It's like you're planted in your roots, right? That's your foundation. So absolutely. All right. So you've helped so many families and different team members and brokers. You know, we all have those special stories that are inside of our heart. Kerry, I'd love for you to share one of those stories where you kind of realize, wow, like I have made an impact out there into the world. Can you please share one with us?
Yeah, there are so many stories from over the years, but one in particular has always stood with me. I remember helping this family. They were in Connecticut, first-time home buyers. The bar was a laborer. His job was to go up and down scaffolding every day. He was on the job for 19 years, worked really hard, really hard. His wife was a stay-at-home wife, and they worked many years to be able to buy their first home. And we started working on that file. They didn't have any credit scores, so it wasn't an easy file to get done, but we did get that file done. And when I finished helping on that loan, the loan officer sent me a picture. And when I got this picture, I'm like, what the heck is this? All I see in this picture are tomato plants. And I was curious, what is this? And he's like, the loan officer said to me, he's like, you're not going to believe this. He's like, this borrower has been growing tomato seeds at their apartment in hopes of buying that house. in hopes of buying that house. We closed probably in about, I want to say like March or April, which is kind of early for planting if you're living in Connecticut. And if you saw these tomato plants, they were just out of control, growing. I literally took up a whole wall of the apartment. But those tomato plants just spoke to me, because it wasn't just a house. You know, we were showing them a way to provide further for their family by, you know, growing their own food. And it just, I don't know, that just stuck with me. Those tomato plants have always stuck with me.
That goes back to those roots, right?
Yes.
Those were
Yes.
his roots.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that. But you see, you know, it's life changing. And sometimes, you know, that's why I love doing this little podcast, because I think all of us need to sometimes remember like stories like that and moments like that, because sometimes when you've been doing this for 20 years or however long people have been doing it, sometimes you take it for granted that it's like, oh, it's just another day.
Right.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because every single day we make a difference in the lives of the partners we serve or the families we help, or, you know, all of that. So I love that story. Okay, well, going back to that, you said you've been doing this since 1999, and I'm sure you've learned a thing or two there, Kerry. And so I'd love to hear, what advice would you give to someone that's just starting out in our industry? What's something that you'd like to share through some of that experience?
So what I'd like to share is, I think for someone just starting out in this industry, I think it's important to remember to always be adaptable. You know, this industry, you know, has a lot of twists and turns. And, you know, even markets have some twists and turns that we have to adapt to. But I think, you know, being adaptable has helped me get through my career and, you know, work in a positive way. You know, things are always changing. Everything is always temporary. And, you know, I just think for people coming into the industry, you know, definitely be open to adapt, to change, to pivot. Sometimes you have to, based on market conditions. So I think that's something I would suggest for everybody to keep in mind.
Yeah, what's that saying? The only thing that's a constant is change.
Is
right?
change.
Because it is so true. And listen, I think that's one of the things we love about the industry. You know, for the people that have been doing it a long time, I think we like that excitement and that challenge of it's not always the same, right?
It's not. Every day is something new. I to this day, I learn something new each and every day. There's always something new to learn, whether it's a guideline that's changing, whether it's a new product we're rolling out. There's always something new to learn, always something new to adapt to. And it's very exciting. Never a dull moment.
Never. Well, thank you so much, Kerry, for everything that you do in the industry and outside. We wish you all the best and keep doing exactly what you're doing. Never change.
Thank you, Laura. Have a great day.